Alright, in this video I'm going to be talking about the Russian language. Partly why I'm interested in it, what keeps me interested in it, and what might help other people learn the language, because I think being interested in the language is maybe the prime thing that will help you learn it. There's a lot of daunting and dull parts about learning any language. For English speakers, I think maybe particularly for Russian, maybe specifically because the grammar is quite different than English, and also a lot of the words are just sort of needed to be memorized. Essentially, they're just, in French or in Spanish, they're just so close to the English version of it that you almost need to memorize it. If you see it on a page, you know what the word means, and it's not something that you had to even learn. So if you have to learn the language already, I think it is extremely valuable to broaden your horizons. There's something in Russian culture for everyone. For me, there's a lot. And I'm kind of the mind that anybody can be interested in any subject. So if you need to learn Russian for work or for another reason, I think that it would be easy to find something else in the culture that would interest you. And if you're already interested in learning Russian, just for one reason, hopefully I will stimulate another part of the culture to keep you on your journey for learning Russian. So the first step is obviously going to need to learn the alphabet, and there's a bunch of videos online for learning that. Basically, I'm not going to go over all the YouTube channels that are really good. I wish there were more, honestly. If you want to learn Spanish or again French, or just many of these bigger languages, there's just a lot more resources. So that's kind of what I want to do now, is go into a lot of the resources for learning Russian. So to learn the alphabet, again, it's not that hard to learn. You can learn it in a couple of days, and then you'll be all set. And then again, I would just go with YouTube videos and just start with the beginner lessons. I would get Duolingo, just kind of do all the basics, the obvious things, and then podcasts. A really good podcast is Russian with Max. Start, at the beginning and work your way up. Also, the Slow Russian podcast is really good. You can find both of those on Spotify or on YouTube, or on, if you just search them on Google, I'm sure it will bring you to their websites. So those are both really good. One huge aspect of learning Russian that I would encourage people to go into is literature. I don't know quite why, and I would love to know why. Maybe one day I'll know why there is such a wealth of great literature coming out of Russia, historically and even present day. Of course, countries like England, America, France, Spain, maybe Germany, Italy, but Russia is a powerhouse for literature as well. And yeah, I just don't know fully why. Like, why aren't there thousands or at least hundreds of very well-known, Serbian or Croatian or Chinese authors? I'm sure there's plenty of really good ones, but I think it's uncontroversial to say that Russia is a well-established country that creates a lot of great writers. So I would encourage people to read Russian literature in English and just develop a love of the culture that way. You're going to learn about the history, about the culture in just so many ways, and it will just open the country to you. So A couple of great writers. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but Mikhail Bulgakov was a Soviet writer. Master and Margarita, highly recommend, is what he's most well known for. Anton Chekhov, great short story writer, and probably one of the first writers that you could start to maybe reading in Russian, because he's not too difficult. He's very I wouldn't say easy to read, but sort of like. But yeah, sort of easy to read. Dostoyevsky, of course, Crime and Punishment is kind of what got me interested into the language, and the brothers Karamazov, and The Idiot, and a bunch of great short stories. Gogol, well known for Dead Souls. Lermontov, a hero of our time. Nabokov, he wrote in English a lot, but again, he's a Russian writer, and a lot of Russian influence in his writing, even if it's a book that takes place in America. For instance, the book Splean is a Russian professor, so there's a lot of references about Russia and the language. Boris Pasternak, of course, he's most well known for Dr. Zhivago. Pelevin, a little less known writer, a little more modern. He wrote a really cool book called Amon Ra, I believe was the title. Very funny book. Pushkin is like the Shakespeare, like the god of modern Russian literature. He kind of developed the language in a way for writing. So a lot of modern literature starts with Pushkin. He's kind of it's amazing that he's not so well known in the West. Sholokhov, if you want to learn a little bit more about Cossack culture, he wrote a really cool book called Quietly Flows the Dawn. Solzhenitsyn, I'm sure people are familiar with him. He wrote about the Gulag, so you get a little bit taste of the darker sides of the 20th century in the Soviet Union. Tolstoy, of course, people know about Tolstoy, Anna Karenina, War and Peace, and plenty of short stories as well. Turgenev, a little less well known in the West, I'd say, but Fathers and Sons is a great novel. In terms of nonfiction, some great books are Natashas Dance by Orlando Figes. Just kind of an overview of Russian culture, which I really enjoyed. Russia and the Russians by Geoffrey. Let's see, I have that right here, I think. Geoffrey Hoskings. Geoffrey Hosking, really great as well. Again, kind of an overview of the history of Russian culture and also the people, where they came from, like early Slavic tribes and whatnot, up to present day. Romanovs by Simon Sebag Montefiore. I might be saying that wrong, but it's about the Romanov dynasty, so you get all the imperial era from 1613, I believe, until the Russian Revolution, 1917. So that's literature, and that is by no means exhaustive. There's so many great poets that I didn't even mention, especially in the late 19th and early 20th century. But yeah, overall, Russian literature is something that will keep you coming back for more, I think. You could spend a lifetime on just Russian literature. All right, what else? Music. I've been able to collect a lot of my favorite Russian artists. So I'm just going to go in alphabetical order with just some of them. It's by no means all of them. So there's a great Soviet group called Alyans, kind of like a synthy 80s band. They didn't put out too much, but the song Nazaria, it's really catchy. I really like it. The guy's got an amazing voice. Arkona is kind of they're metal, so they're not for everybody. Pretty extreme. Women. There's a woman as the main vocalist, and she has guttural vocals, which are very, very impressive. So they're kind of folk black metal. I don't know how to exactly categorize them, but if you're into metal at all and you want to find some cool Russian metal artists, I recommend Arkona. Basta, he's kind of like a hip-hop pop artist. I won't have as many recommendations just because I don't listen to as much of it, but Basta, if you're into hip-hop or rap at all, I would check him out. Dolphin is really cool. Dolphin is, I think, the Russian pronunciation. Kino is probably the most well-known artist in Russia. It's kind of, I think, like a post-punk-ish style. They're kind of from like the late 80s, and so many catchy songs, kind of moody, you could say. So if you're into like maybe post-punk music, Joy Division, you might really like Kino. Korol I is like a punk band. Molchat Doma is like the modern version of Kino, but maybe a little bit more clean and faster and a little bit maybe more synthy, dancey. I really like them. They actually just put out a new album, so check out Molchat Doma. Sonic Death, far less well known than any of these other ones. They are, maybe punk, maybe how would you say? Maybe post-punk, maybe a little bit of metal in there. So give them a listen if you think that might appeal to you. Splean is more of like a famous modern pop singer. Zemfira is a great female artist. Again, she's kind of pop, kind of alternative rock. Same with Splean, kind of alternative rock. DDT is a famous Soviet rock band as well. And then classical music. Oh my God, there's just a wealth of classical music. Of course, Tchaikovsky, Mussorgsky, Prokofiev, Shostakovich, Rachmaninoff, Glinka, Stravinsky, Rimsky-Korsakov. The list goes on. So music, dive into music as well. Movies. I can't recommend that many movies, but I can say that there's a website that I like to use. It's called SovietMoviesOnline.com. I paid $100 and I forever get free movies. I can just log in and just watch movies. And one thing I will say about watching movies, find one that you like, watch it with the subtitles on once, twice, maybe 3 times. Then start watching it with the Russian subtitles, and maybe one day you can watch it without subtitles. But make sure it's a movie you really like, because you'll end up watching it repetitively. And I'm just gonna finish off with saying, get to know some Russians. There's a lot of ways to meet them. Duolingo has cool meetups. Just figure out where the Russian stores in your area are. Try and start eating the food. And there's a really cool website called interpals.net where you can exchange languages with people online. And there's plenty of Russians trying to learn English. So I don't think you will struggle to find somebody to have a communication with where you teach them English and they help you with Russian. So I'm just going to stop the video there, although I could go on for forever. But that's just a basic couple of resources that might help you stay interested in Russian. I'll say one more thing. If you're interested in art, Ilya Repin is kind of maybe my favorite Russian artist, although I'm sure there's a lot I don't know about Russian art. But yeah, Ilya Repin, I saw a lot of his work in one of the museums in St. Petersburg. Of course, travel to Russia if you're interested in Russia. And, other countries like Ukraine and Kazakhstan, maybe Kyrgyzstan, where Russian might also be spoken. But of course, Russia is so huge that you could spend a lot of time traveling those countries, cities and towns within Russia. So in terms of literature, also for learning Russian, one great place to start is Nicholas Brown's Russian course. I've probably read this 3 or 4 times, and I'll probably read it a few more times. It's kind of the Bible for learning Russian. So I would highly recommend using this, as well as Mark Pettus, Pettus, I believe, is putting out like a whole course on YouTube from like absolute beginner to advanced. So it's free. I would highly recommend subscribing to his YouTube channel and purchasing his textbooks, which are available on Amazon. Another thing is I would just recommend reading children's books. I've got this one, Zhivaya Shlyapa. It's a children's book, so, when you don't see a word, put it into Google Translate, put it on an index card, and practice that to add to your vocabulary. But yeah, children's books, start building yourself up slowly. A little bit more intermediate. This is a great book, Short Stories in Russian. You can buy it on Amazon, by Ollie Richards and Alex Rawlings. I've read this a few times. Once you start getting into the intermediate levels, this is really, really good. At the end of every chapter, it kind of goes over some tougher vocabulary, and there's some questions and a summary. So yeah, I really recommend this book. And then maybe not this one in particular, although I would recommend this one, is a Russian dual language book. So, this one is classic Russian stories. This one I just opened to, is Nose by Nikolai Gogol. So on one side of the page, you'll see Russian, and on the other side, it will be in English. So those are just some of the other resources that I think are very valuable for learning Russian. So yeah, we're going to end the video there before I go on too long.